Hi everyone, the name's Nat. This is Exceptional Individuals and welcome to our Thursday webinars. This week we've got an exciting guest who is going to be doing a great takeover. We have Dr. Shah Siddiqui, who is the founder and CEO of Time Research Innovation. They are also the CEO of Gen Z Marketing and the Neurodivergent Business Consortium. They hold a PhD in artificial intelligence from the University of Portsmouth, just down the road from me in Southampton. They have developed World Health Aid, an AI-powered multilingual telemedicine platform. Wow. Lived experience of both dyslexia and autism, late diagnosed. Hopefully we'll hear a bit more about that soon. They've even overcome a brain trauma during their academic journey. Thankfully, maybe a lot of us can't say the same. And they are a champion of neurodiversity, doing a lot of mentoring and supporting individuals, and a real they have some fantastic insights around AI and how it will combine with neurodivergence. So without further delay, let's bring you on. Hi, Dr. Shah. Thank you so much for being here today.
Hi, Nat. Thank you very much for bringing me in. It's a pleasure to talking to you today.
I know we're really grateful to have you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass it over to yourself, and maybe you can say a bit about yourself and then go on to your presentation, which I'm really looking forward to today. And for everyone watching at home, please do send in your questions because we're going to be asking questions towards the end. Thank you so much.
That's fine. Thank you, Nat. So if I give my introduction, as you know that as a neurodivergent person, we are jack of all trades. We try to do lots of things and try to bring things. Some things we fail, some things we do get succeeded. And my journey was similar like that way. So if I give a brief introduction from my childhood till now in few minutes, then you will have a detailed understanding my struggle and how I become successful and how I am working. So I was born in Bangladesh, a rural village, and then brought up in Dhaka. I was very odd child to peoples because I used to, I used to afraid of a lot of different things in my childhood. But my mother, she safeguarded me all the time. But I was very good at education. So later on my journey, I did very good on my GCSE college levels. But I was struggling all the time. And end of my college, I passed in 3 times because I did not know what's wrong with me. And then I came to the UK as an international student. I still have problems, toothache, and a lot of health problems. I did not know what's wrong with me. And later, 5 years, when I was end of my graduation, I had to go for a brain scan, and they recovered a brain tumor, and it was in the very late stage, and my brain didn't have enough room to, space the brain tumor. So I had to go for an operation very, very in short time, and I had to withdraw from my graduation because I did not have that growth. Later, I was doing business and all other things, but I had to have a business exit in 2012. And that time, I questioned myself, what is my true value? And I valued myself 0 because I lost my business. I don't have education. And I was like on a street, something like that. And then I planned 10 years, like, okay, what I wanted to be. So in 2017, I returned back to education as a mature student. I knew I was dyslexic after my brain tumor operation, but I did not knew that I was also autistic. So my son born in 2014, and he was diagnosed with autism when he was going to his, play nursery at that stage. And I knew that, okay, he just shadows me all my characteristics. So I was autistic. And then, but when I returned to my education, I had a very strong mentality that, okay, I have to do something that I'm very good at. So I completed my PhD at one go, and I was very technical, and I can see things in 3 divisions and all other things I can do, and started my business at 2017, and now here I am. So telling this story, I know that most of the neurodivergent people, they have a struggle, but some of them, they can be a good position like me due to their work with people, due to their self-belief, trust, and willingness. Nat.
Thank you so much for that intro. That's quite a journey there. And I think, a lot of us can probably resonate with that perseverance and determination that being neurodivergent can bring and face. Before we kind of go into your main presentation, I'd be curious to know a bit more about how you kind of got into the neurodiverse, well, the AI side of it, because I think this is an area which we just had a question actually from Vivian, who wanted to understand that, like, how do you even learn about this type of thing as a neurodivergent person? Was there already resources, or did you go out and have to find them?
So particularly, as you know, that when you have willingness, you will find a way to work with. So when I came to the UK, I was a media student. So I was doing television productions, media, editing, all those things. And after my brain tumor operation, my left side is weak. I see blur. So when I try to work on a production studio, I cannot see very well. So I have to change my settings based on my situation. So I went back to system engineering rather than front or television work. And that point is a life-changing, I would say, because on my end of my undergraduate degree, we have to do a project. And that time, as I have suffered due to my brain tumor surgery, I proposed a cloud hospital in 2017. And that time, Cloud Hospital was like, okay, you are an alien. Why you are talking about that? Because no one going to go to your Cloud Hospital. But my supervisor trusted me, and he said, okay, let's do it. It's uncommon, but you can do it. So that was my starting. I pushed my boundaries with that, as I said, World Health Aid boundary. And I worked very hard. It was a challenge for me. Like, okay, I have to have first class, because if I don't have first class, I cannot get to the point that I'm looking for. So I was working day and night to achieve that. So when I achieve that, I get these things like, okay, how can I improve my application? So AI is not relatively out there. Only medical application, they are using AI. So I learned, research, talk to people, talk to academics, self-learn a lot of different things.
Okay, that's really interesting. Thank you. And I know we've got a few more questions lined up already, but I think I'll hold off to them until the end. But would you want to share the presentation from your end?
Yes, just give me a second.
I've got it on my one as well for backup, but it might be easier for you.
Oh, that's fine. Just going to share my entire screen. So if you can see my screen.
All right. And yes, we can. Brilliant.
So I'm just going to go to Zoom. You know, when we talk about neurodiversity and AI, I think it's interlinked. And I have some beliefs myself. You might not believe those things. That's up to you. But, you know, particularly every person in this world, they are different. And they have individual beliefs. So in a way, to engage with AI or all other activities that I do, I have a beliefs. So as a neurodivergent person, you probably know about neuroplasticity. You probably know about connections. You probably know about a lot of different things. I think when you talk about neuroplasticity and you talk about AI is all about these things. Like, okay, connecting a dot and many dots, millions of dots together and get a results out. And we are neurodivergent person. Some people, they say we are superhuman. I don't say that we are superhuman, but I say our mutation is different because we are muted in a way uh, that makes us extraordinary. That makes us that we can do some of the things very well, and some of the things we are very worst. So that's why we're different. So when we talk about neurodiversity and AI, I connect individual dots. It might be different for you, individual person, because we are all different. But when I see things, when I dream things, or when I see the future, I can reverse back what I can see 10 years back and start a particular points to achieve that success. So that is my strength overall to get to this point. So when I think about AI, I think about neural network. I think about my connection to the world. I think about a lot of other things that makes me stronger. And I have implemented all those things to my work. So today, with my presentation, I wanted to try to be very focused, and outcomes going to be after this presentation: increase innovation capacity, enhance business performance, future ready workforce strategies, authentic branding and storytelling, competitive digital advantage, social impact and representation, inclusive AI ecosystem. So we know that we are different characteristics, and ADHD, autism, dyslexia, we have unique cognitive strength sometimes, although it's not similar to all the people, but mostly we have a very stronger characteristics. Could be hyper focus, could be pattern recognition, could be lateral thinking, and many other things we have. And with that things, if we work to improve those, to get to an excellent way, we can make it. And another thing that I believe, like, we have lots of worst things, and if we consider to improve all those worst things rather than improving our excellent one, then we failed. So what I do, I have strong characteristics in critical thinking and all other things. So what I did myself, I become excellent on those things, and gradually I improve my other things later. So the role of AI in empowering neurodivergent talent. You know that there are different tools that we use. Adaptation I also use because I'm dyslexic. I also use Grammarly. I use AI. I use a lot of other things, and using those tools also gave me privilege to build new systems. And I'm going to be discussing about that later on this presentation. Why we need this? Because if you think about neurodiversity, or maybe a neurotypical person, no one can be 100% accurate, and it's not possible in this world. So to minimize your gaps, you need a colleague, or you need a friend, you need a partner to work with you to make it to the extraordinary. And these tools are supporting us like that way. I can remember AI wasn't, ChatGPT wasn't there when I submitted my dissertation, PhD dissertation. So I have to work and research long for 4 years, and I could define and submit it. But now, when AI is there, those work I have done in 4 years, I could minimize it to 1 year. Why? Because I have tools and I have additional supports that I can make it happen. So that's why the work I'm doing now, it is speeded up, I would say 50% due to the AI and implementation, all other things. So when we talk about benefit of AI tools in language learning, is for myself. I use enhanced writing tools to actually make a sentence, because due to my brain tumor surgery, I lost vocabularies, I lost punctuations, and a lot of other things. So what AI does, sometimes when I write things, I even can't understand after I writing and read it through. So I get support from AI to construct my sentence, get my dyslexic error and all other things, and as well as punctuations. I cannot pronounce certain words because my muscles doesn't allow me to pronounce, like, okay, when I'm talking about a paper, and you know that there is paper, people call it sometimes a shit. And when I call it shit, it means a real shit. It's not a paper shit. So it's just like those kind of things. And it's a struggle, I know. But as I said, when I add AI or punctuation tools or other things, it helps me to go to the next levels. Next thing, I wanted to talk about real world innovation. And I also wanted to share my screen. So I have developed many systems when I started my journey with AI software development and innovation. So part of that is that bot AI. So I work with, it's already been open here. So I work with innovators to create chatbots for businesses, implement them. We also work in many other domains here. So working with businesses to sort out data. And you know that generative AI is it out there, ChatGPT models it out there. But what we do, we improvise things, original knowledge with the help of large LLM models to get something different, to get something very much tailored. If I give a scenario like, okay, someone is looking for a chat buddy, and that chat buddy, they want to have knowledge of system engineering. So I want someone that I wanted to talk to, and it can tailor me all the system engineering knowledge. So when you talk to ChatGPT, it's not characterized, it's not model like you want. So what we do, we create original models and we add and link it with large LLM models to produce a systematic software or systematic AI application. Then if I go to my second one, we also working on sustainability. So you know that sustainability is a key thing currently, and people have talk about sustainability. So one of my project that we are working with delivering sustainability, change, transparency. So we do audits, and based on that audits, the DPP, Digital Product Passport legislation, will be imposed from 2027 and in the EU. And when it is imposed, every government, they have to have a tag, either a QR code or RFID or NFC cards with these governments for its historic data. So data could be anything related to carbon emission, journey, and a lot of other things. I can go through with just one simple click. And what we are doing, we are capturing the historic data, and with AI, because you know there's billions of garments each year produced. So to track these billions of garments, we need to have a smart decision-making software. We need to have a smart system that can analyze data and level this data for our consumers, that, okay, they are buying the right products or not, or their carbon footprint. All the time we talk about these buzzwords, sustainability, but we actually ever think about that, okay, if you are buying a t-shirt or a textile garments, are we sustainable ourselves? We need to think about that. So we are preparing that as well. The next thing we are doing, we are utilizing AI for sales and marketing. So we work with data, and we analyze people's businesses, and we create end-to-end solution based on the business, market, and future growth. Combination of together, we develop systems. So in sales, we talk about growth and growth and growth. So if you are not data driven, you cannot produce growth. So we analyze systematic data, and based on that, with our methodology, we work end to end. Like, okay, if you wanted to attract 100 customer per month, we need to get to those 100 customer. They're actually looking for your product and services, or they were looking to solve their pain points. Without that, it doesn't work. So we work systematically with data. The last one I wanted to talk about is, as well as understanding people and their work. So we do regular communication with people. So with that, understanding their value proposition, understanding their characteristics, understanding their readiness with the industry, and how they would contribute to the next levels, and what they would plan. So all those things can be tailored systematically with AI, specifically tailored models and tailored data gathering and tailored things. So this is the things is ongoing with us, with varieties of people. So we attract people, nurture them, and work with them to the next levels. So the next thing, it's problems as well. When we utilize data, technology, if you don't understand that, there is a problem there. And we also need to how we can solve those problems. And it could be data privacy and all of other things. We have to have concern about it. And there is lots of leaks and malware and spyware attacks. So we need to understand that as well. And AI plays a vital role understanding individuals or understanding a signal. Okay, some user is coming to your site and how they're reacting. And based on that, how you can prevent the privacy issue or malware and other issues. So another question mostly asks that AI will replace people or human. This is also a question to you as well. We can talk about this in the conversation. And the next thing, what else is out there with AI? What it can change in the future? We can also talk about this on our discussion. It is important to select an AI tools that align with your specific and the profiles and learning objectives, because there are many AI tools, but are those really tailored for you? And can you tailor those for your specific purposes? We also need to understand that. Thank you very much. And this is my end of the conversation or presentation. And we can, if you have any question, Nat, we can jump into that.
All right, brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I think it's shown a really interesting overview of how AI can be embedded in day-to-day and how a neurodivergent mind can add to those types of innovations. Now, if anyone does have any questions around the use of artificial intelligence and how it might relate to neurodiversity, please do share. Now, I came prepared because this was an interesting subject and there are definitely a lot of things that I would like to ask. So I'm going to kickstart off with, could you share some other examples where neurodivergent thinking can directly improve an AI system? Because we often see how AI systems aren't taking our minds into account, but when they are taken into account, what benefits are we likely to see?
Because as I discussed earlier, that neurodivergent brain is critical brain. And when you understand your brain, your patterns, we also have a patterns, isn't it? Every person, neurodivergent person, they have a pattern. So sometimes I can think, okay, some people develop a system, and if I would develop that system, I would think about different touch points. Like, okay, there could be improved, there could be improved, there could be improved. Like yesterday, I had a meeting with someone, Opus Clip, and I use Opus Clip to create shorts and all other things. And I spotted some gaps, and I wanted to talk to them. Like, okay, I think if we can improve this, because I'm a neurodivergent person, and it could be better if you add these things, and that things. That is the thing. When you develop system, people doesn't think about it. They don't think about neurodivergent. They don't think about disabled people. They don't think about limited eyesight. I have all those things together because person with full disabilities. So when I work with an individual per person, I ask them, and sometimes they don't like me either because I'm talking about the gaps. And the gaps is like, okay, when I'm working and I wanted to work in full rhythm. So neurodivergent brain can improve AI differently, and we will take AI to the next levels. But to do that, we need to learn it properly. Because, when you're a doctor, you learn it properly, and then you become surgeon.
Yeah.
Similarly that way.
That's definitely some food for thought. And I do think our minds are going to become more and more utilized as AI becomes more embedded into day-to-day society. Now, we had a question from Rain, which is, what's a good AI to try to start using? Now, this is a very broad question, but let's kind of home it in a bit more and say, what are some good AIs that you would recommend for a neurodivergent person? I know you've mentioned Grammarly. Are there any other tools that you've currently used?
I use Grammarly for, I think I also use, there is another software, Quick something. I forgot the name. There are some tools, they are good at using AI. But, we also need to understand when you utilize AI, you have to be original and ethical. And we sometimes forget about that. So we write content with AI. And when we write content with AI, that is not our thing. That is written by AI. So we have to reference it when we utilize it. And for business purposes, normally we don't reference it, but you need to use your original thinking as well. So the way I do, I use AI tools like, okay, I'm using Grammarly or I'm using any other software. Or ChatGPT. There are different forms of ChatGPT, already. So what I do, I create my patterns. Like, okay, this is my patterns. This is the way that I write. This is the way that I think. And when you ask any GPT application, like, you have to have your own unique voice, own unique thinking, and then you can get the AI to work better for you. Otherwise, if you ask a simple question like, okay, write me a article for neurodivergent and AI, AI will write that article, but that's not originally think. That's not going to be creating original contribution or all other things.
No, I completely agree with you that I like making my own models on ChatGPT where you can add your own documents and tones. And I believe maybe it was just yesterday where Google had an event where they were showing about upcoming releases with Gemini and how they're going to take into consideration all your previous emails, should you wish for them to do so, and craft things to sound more authentically to you. Which I do see, I'm a big advocate of AI, but you can tell when people send you an AI email. And ideally, we want to kind of get away from that. So you can benefit from AI without it dehumanizing our day-to-day conversations.
Yes, I totally agree with you. So that's why what we do, we use large LLM models because we cannot build LLM models because it's very time consuming and it's very expensive. We cannot do that. So what we do, we develop top layer models from scratch. Like, okay, this is the top layer models. Like, okay, if NAT, we're going to be researching about NATs. How do you write? How do you react? How do you do this? How do you do that? So when we develop that particular models, it will combine with the LLM models to create exactly what you're looking for, exactly your characteristics, exactly your thinking, exactly the way you describe things, similar way.
Sometimes just little things like I know Chat GPT is very Americanized, so whenever I get it to reply to my emails, it always says totally, and I'm like, I would never say that. I would say awesome. And it's just little things like that that do make a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I want to move on a little bit to my next question, and we've got some more from the audience, and it's that how can we stop AI tools from reinforcing this neurotypical bias in their training data? So, like, is there anything that we can do, or is it very much up to the individuals who are creating it?
I think it's up to individuals who are creating it, because AI and machine learning is a huge field. Okay, sometimes when you training a data, that means you training a data of the platform of other people's like ChatGPT or DeepSeek or Google or Microsoft Copilots. This is their platforms. So when
Yeah.
you training your data to a third-party platform, you have less, way to include your training things. So that's why it's kicked in that what we do, we work with individuals to build a top layer models. You can control that models 100%. So when you control that model 100%, and that tools will talk to the large LMM tools the way you wanted to get this. So even the large LMM models will throw a answer. Your model will redefine it to to produce it for the way you wanted to teach it. Train it.
Yeah. Thank you for that. We just had an interesting question just come in now, and it's around hyperfocus and pattern recognition. And it says, how can AI support hyperfocus and pattern recognition without disrupting them? And I'm assuming this is coming from someone who might find AI slightly overwhelming, who gets kind of sucked into it a bit.
So, AI is still developing, and
Yeah.
it needs further. It will go further. When I work with hyperfocus things and pattern recognition, sometimes it can produce good results, sometimes it doesn't. So you need to have your mind first, because this is our first thing, that okay, my mind. And if I can recognize the pattern myself, so when I see a artwork, or when I see maybe a sketch or whatever, or maybe a systematic map, okay, I can really spot all the points in one look. Okay, you might not have that one, but when you read a image and you point individual things there, you can write to the AI like, okay, I spotted these things, and based on that, can you more clarify that you found anything else in there? Because
Okay.
if I give an example of the work I have done, so we have worked with kidney vessels. So there are some, there are some system in the UK built, like a kidney can be pictured to blood vessels way, and that is like millions times bigger than its actual thing. And there is a very, very big system built facilities. So what we did, we asked AI like, okay, this is the things that we wanted to look for, because we know that particularly what we wanted to achieve from that. So we asked AI like, okay, can you find these similarities of these 10,000 images we're looking for to get this out there? So then what AI will do, it will work on particular page, like, okay, I just find out patterns that you are looking for from those 10,000 images. But if you ask them, okay, find me some dissimilarities of these 10,000 images, if it's very broad, it will struggle. It
Okay,
will
so
not.
like really narrowing it down.
Yes.
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. Now, as well as neurodivergent individuals here today, we do also have some employers or managers within companies. And we get asked this question quite a lot. And to be honest, I'm not the person to be asking it, you are. So I was hoping you could help us out with this one. When companies are looking to choose what their AI toolkit would be, what type of things do you think they should be considering, particularly when they are thinking about their neurodivergent colleagues?
So that's a very critical questions, because I also face these questions many times when working with individual businesses. When you build your tools, a company like, Grammarly, they
Yeah.
have built its tools for everyone. So if you think that tools can tailor all your methodology, it doesn't. It will only tailor a very specific elements of your methodology. So you might need to search and look for a specific solution that you are looking for, or you might do work companies like us or other AI solution companies to build particular models for you. Like, you're looking to support your employee, maybe the system you're looking for, it's been tailored in 10 different systems. So what we do, we implement AI with API integration. Like, we take something from this application, we take something from that application, and then create a versatile system for your neurodivergent person. I know it is very difficult, and sometimes it could be expensive, but other way, when you're choosing AI tools, you need to look for mostly if it can tailor your methodology.
Okay, so flexibility seems to be key. Like
Ye-
ideally, develop it yourself, but realistically, it's finding one that has the flexibility.
Yes, that
Okay, that makes a lot
mostly
of sense.
things, mostly like if you selecting in ChatGPT application, suppose some people they use Copilot, some people they use ChatGPT itself, some people they use the Google, all those things. Every application they have their strengths and weaknesses. You need to understand that first. As usual, we have a strength and weaknesses. So based on your strength or weaknesses, which application can tailor your methodology, more, you will select that tools.
Okay, yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's one of the reasons I personally pay for my version of Chat GPT, and it's because it has a better memory. And for me, it's much more useful because it remembers my previous conversations opposed to the other one, which forgets. Now, I've got the next question is an amalgamation of a few people's comments, and I'll be honest, it's not an easy one. So be prepared. It is, where's the line between AI as support and AI as over dependence? And I'm saying this particularly with a neurodivergent lens because this has been a game changer for a lot of us. But I do worry that maybe it's going too far.
I totally agree with you, Nat. But as an AI myself, I build AI application, and I also get supported with AI applications. So it doesn't matter the support you need. You need to think about two things. As I described earlier, is the authenticity as well as ethical. So
Yeah.
if you are ethical, and if you are creating original knowledge, it doesn't matter how far you utilize AI, there's going to be ethical and original. So over dependency depends your particular scenario, actually. Sometimes you could be more dependent, sometimes you could be less dependent. But as I said, when you create something, go through with that properly. Use your imagination, your mind, because neurodivergent people, we have excellent minds. No one can copy that. So you are unique piece of creation itself. So input your thinking, make it extraordinary, and then it will stand out.
No, I think that's really useful. And it's something that I'm always been very mindful of, is that if you become so reliant on something, it might make other things become a bit sloppier. It's a bit like, studying's great, but if you study so hard that you forget to go to the gym, then your body kind of decays. So balance with everything is key. But on the other hand, people would always say, when back in school, it's like, you're not always going to have a calculator on your hands. Well, we always do. So I think expecting that AI is always going to be there and it's always going to get better, while also keeping up with the skill set, which we like the foundational. Now, we've had a lot of questions in the chat around data privacy, because I know this is a hot topic, and a lot of organizations, particularly in the public sector, have been kind of slow to adopt AI because they are worried about where their data is going. And when we spoke about personalization, it kind of got me thinking around, well, let's say you tell the AI your everything. I was diagnosed at this age. I had this trauma. I struggle with this. Is there any potential risks, or are there ways to mitigate potential privacy concerns?
Yes. So when you ask ChatGPT, you see their privacy policy. So they keep your data at certain times, and they have to, because as a business, we know when we utilize people's data, we have to keep that certain times. Yeah. Sometimes there could be leaks, like before last week we had the company Marks and Spencer data leak. Okay, this is a normal thing. It could happen to you, and it could happen to anyone. So if we move away from that space, like, okay, personalized information, shall we share with AI? I wouldn't say yes or no. It's up to you what you wanted to do, because this data you will share with them. Any application, they will store it, and it might be leaked in the future. So you need to understand that first. Second thing, how can you stop that? You need to work with companies like us to do that. So when we build customized application, we can tell the application, do not share this information with third party like this. So when our application will talk to the large LLM models, we have set of observation, like, okay, you share this, you don't share this, you do this, you do that. So if and no rules, then rules. That makes us the application unique, and thinking about less way to depend on these kind of large language models. We have to still work with them, but we can prioritize that when you have systematic approach.
So there's going to be risk whether or not we're part of it or not part of it, but we can take calculated concerns, I suppose.
Yes, but now, it depends up to individual people.
Now, I've got the people being really interested, by the way. We've had lots of comments in the chat, and a lot of people talking about different data in the UK and GDPR and all of that sort of things. I suppose it's still very much an emerging area, and organizations which have to be more risk averse, such as government departments, naturally are going to be slower to adopt. But I have two kind of final questions, unless another one comes in, that I'd like to ask you. One is more personal to you, and the other one is more forward focusing. So we'll start off with the one about yourself first, because I think that could be quite interesting. And then we'll do a more open one. So the penultimate one is, how has your own neurodivergence shaped your views on AI and ethics? You've chatted a bit about a general response, but I'd be curious to know yourself. Like, would you feel completely comfortable with telling AI everything about you in order to help you? Is it a fair trade-off, or are there still things that you'd prefer to keep private?
So that's a very good question, because I work with AI all the time, every day. I wouldn't share my personal things with AI. I wouldn't do, because I don't like to do it. I can talk about my personal things the way I did, and in personal conversation and a lot of other things. But that's my view. I never will write AI, okay, this is my characteristics, and can you create something from there? But we are training particular models. We are building now AI avatar for neurodivergent people. So this avatar is a top layer models. So
Right.
what we are doing, we are injecting all personal information with this avatar, but we are not injecting this personal information with the third party. So in top levels, we have information there to understand and talk to you like a buddy, talk to you similar like
Yeah.
way, you talk to them like a friend, but you're not passing your information to the large new LLM models. And as a
Mm.
neurodivergent individuals, it shaped my views on AI, and ethics is important because my PhD, ethics is a core thing. That's why I always tell people, like, whenever you do utilize AI, doesn't matter, it's endless, you can get it from AI, but be ethical, be mindful. Okay, if you need to do something, you need to think, okay, really I do need to do, because your brain has to be there. If internet is not out there, the what you can do, you can't access them, and your mind gonna be become ideal, like, okay, what would I do? And neurodivergent people, we become imbalanced very quick. So think about that scenario, the switch off, like, okay, the things is switched off.
Yeah.
If you do not practice, what are you going to do? So if you combined your inner things and with AI, you are more stronger. But if you depend too much on AI, your brain will become ideal, and at the end you will think, okay, I'm nothing.
So I think that really goes back to the being over codependent upon it,
Mhm.
that while it's useful as a tool, it shouldn't be our kind of default. I
Yeah,
get this kind of view in my mind. If you ever watched the film Wall-E, when all the human beings are just kind of like bedbound and kind of floating around space, like
like
they
very
became
much.
too reliant upon the technology.
Mhm.
Whereas when used ethically and responsibly, it can have massive assets. The
Mhm.
way I always see it is that technology advances are going to happen regardless, and they're always going to be good as well as bad. But I think it's at this time while we are just crafting it is the most crucial time for us to have these kind of detailed chats.
Mhm.
And I suppose that kind of leads me very nicely on to the future. Um, AI is still very much in its infancies, but I would love to know if you could give your kind of opinion about where do you see it heading, particularly under the lens of neuro inclusion. Like, how might this shape to make the world a more inclusive place for all?
So AI is helping neurodivergent people a lot. There is an endless support we are getting from AI. In reality, what I'm thinking now, to create um, cubicles in the future for health purpose. So maybe it could be a virtual cubicles, and that cubicles you can um, get help from there for your medical treatments and all other things.
Hmm.
You know, we're thinking about time travels. I don't know it will happen or not, but if we think about that, my son talk about magical potion to reduce your age, so you will not get aged, because he want me to be alive hundreds of years.
Nice.
Okay, and I think AI had that capacity to analyze data, millions of data, and produce a specific elements for you, and it will happen.
Yeah.
People are using astronomy, your people are using geography, people are using human cells. We uh, work on particularly phenotypes. You probably know about phenotypes. So
Mhm.
what phenotypes are you? And these phenotypes, how you can change your genetics mutation, and a lot of other things in the future. Uh, this will happen, it will go further, but before we jump into that, we need to know, yes, we can get endless things. We have to be ethical. There's another thing that I'm talking about. With AI, you can create distractions. If you create a bomb, if you create something that will destroy human, we have to be mindful about that. And neurodivergent people, that majority of the neurodivergent people, if you go to see the crime rates, is there. Okay, because we are very clever. People don't understand our strength. They see that us as like, okay, we are good for nothing, but we create a lot of different distractions. We have to be mindful about that. So inclusivity in relation with neurodivergent people, you have to be mindful what you do and grow this to the next levels. Rather than destroying, it could be an add-on, like, okay, supporting some other people, like a hand, making prostate hands or prostate legs or something like that. I'm thinking, I talked to my son, he's 11, that in the future we might change our body. Okay, we have a new body and we just change our body, and it will happen because we are thinking about it. That's why it will happen. But it has to be ethical. Like, okay, when we change our body, does it need it to change it?
Yeah. So kind of what I kind of got from that is that the future will be whatever we can think it to be. If you think it, it can become it. And having a neurodivergent mind can allow for more creative possibilities. And I think having that diversity of thought can also help keep us in check. Because if you think one certain way, you end up with a bunch of yes people, like, yep, 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 yep. Where neurodivergent individuals are much more likely to go against the grain. And as you say, not always be like, whoa, I'm not so sure on that. So we are kind of our own self-correcting mechanism, which kind of keeps us in line. But honestly, I think this is a fascinating subject area. And I am seeing more and more companies which are naturally adopting AI because it is the future, taking a second look at the neurodivergent applicants that they have previously kind of looked away from, and now thinking, wait a sec, we actually very much may need that alternative outlook.
I totally agree with you on that.
Yeah. So I just want to say thank you so much for your time today and sharing your knowledge and your presentation. So thank you so much, and hope to stay in touch.
Yeah, thank you everyone for your questions. And if you wanted to connect me, please connect me on LinkedIn. I'm social media. I'm mostly engaged with social media. I also run my own webinars and all other things. If you need something, feel free to talk to me or talk to Nat. We are connected all the time. And thank you.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And hopefully see you next week, where we're going to go back to our traditional interactive webinars. Thank you so much again, Dr. Shah, and see you all again soon. Have a great rest of your Thursdays.
Bye-bye.